everyone, Sandie Heron coming to you from Tokyo. Today I am joined by KimDix, a volunteer at the Olympic Games, who will be giving us an inside view, a behind the scenes look at what is happening. Thank you so much for joining, Kim. And before you join, I just want to ask, what are you doing in Japan? Where are you from? And also why you decided to move to Japan to live and work.
Hi guys, my name is KimDix and I have been living in Japan for the past 3 years. I am from America, but I do have Jamaican roots and I work here as a English teacher. The reason why I decided to move to Japan, man, I remember this day like it was yesterday. So it was at a work function. So there was this huge surprise that they told us that they had for us after the dinner. And it was this old lady. She was like close to 90 years old. And they were glorifying the fact that she has been working for the company for over 60 years. And here was this lady who could hardly move. And she was still working for the company. And it was supposed to be used as a motivation tool. But that whole thing drove me through the door because I was like, I don't want to be that lady. I just wanted a better work-life balance, and it felt like staying in my job would mean like constantly fighting and trying to break glass ceilings. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm young. I need to relax. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to do so much more. And that was ultimately the reason why I moved to Japan.
Yes, I definitely understand that. It can be frightening to think that you're remaining in a place for so many years with no real prospect for growth, and just seeing someone else doing that and being frightened and just deciding to yourself that you want more. All right, Kim, so you are volunteering at the games. But tell us though, what was the process to sign up as a volunteer? I mean, so many people signed up and you were successful. Take us through the process, what that was like when you submitted, and also how did you feel when you were accepted?
So the process was fairly simple. It was just like a work application, like a job application. So it asks you for your basic information, your name, your ID information, and all that good stuff, because they had to do a background check on you first to make sure that you have any affiliation that would be problematic for the organization. They also wanted to know about your education, your work history, your affiliations with clubs, your volunteer services. And so it was pretty much like a job application. The application process, I believe the deadline for the application process ended in September 30th, 2018 was the last day for the application. So once you went ahead and you put that in, and it took them about, I want to say probably 7 months or so before you heard back from them. So my feelings when I finally got the email to say that I was accepted, overjoyed is an understatement. Just thinking about that moment again, I'm so excited. It was just like, oh my God, me, little old me. I was extremely proud of myself to know that so many applicants from all over the world had applied for this position, and I stood out. I got that accomplishment.
Kim, the Olympics is a big deal. Did you ever imagine that you would be a part of this momentous occasion? I mean, for years it will be something that you will be able to talk about. I mean, the pandemic, and then having the Olympics in the midst of the pandemic and you being a part of it. Did you ever imagine that something like this would have happened to you?
Like vision boards and manifestation is something that is really big right now. And I do believe in the power of your tongue, the power of your thoughts, and your predetermined destiny. And I believe it that all these three things combined together causes this thing in the universe that causes things to manifest in your life, right? So it is actually crazy. Before moving to Japan, I had a list of things that I wanted to accomplish, and one of them was working in the Olympics. And I wrote that down. So on that day, when I got that email, I remember telling my friends and my family who I had told before moving to Japan that, hey, when I move to Japan, I'm going to be a part of the Olympics. And, everybody kind of like, there goes Kim again with her crazy dreams and all these things. And it happened. It came to fruition. So it was just like mind blowing. I was just like, I was extremely happy. It was a great moment.
Visualization is so important. I have experienced that in my life as well. And man, I can testify that it does work. Visualizing, believing in the things that you want, and actually speaking the things that you actually desire into being. And I will add working towards it as well. So, Kim, no spectators are allowed at the events. We know that. But can you give us a sense of what is happening behind the scenes? How is everyone adjusting? How is everyone coping? What does it look and feel like?
The spectators are not welcome inside the stadium. So what you find is, as humans, we have this ability to come together, right? And we kind of have this thing where we kind of make the best of our situation. And that's the cool thing about us as the human race. And we're seeing that in the Olympics. So even though I don't know if you guys are watching the games as they're unfolding, but if you look in those stands and if you look around these events, you'll actually see in the stands that their coaches and their teammates are banding together and being that support system for the athletes. And so the feeling, even though they're not spectators and even though the game has changed because of the pandemic and what's going on, we had to adjust to this new norm. But even though we're adjusting to the new norm, we're still finding a way to work together and collaboratively support each other. So whether that be from volunteers going to the different games, sitting in the stand, cheering on the athletes or their teammates, it's not an ideal situation, but we are making the best of the situation.
As it relates to your day-to-day activity as a volunteer, so what are you required to do when you get up in the mornings? What are some of the tasks that you're asked to complete? What does that look like?
What are volunteers required to do? So the organization is a huge organization, and you have volunteers that are doing different things. So for instance, I am with the field cast department. I guess it would be considered department. And then you have like the city cast department. team 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 department. And what is happening is all of those different areas have different jobs that they have to do. So for instance, with fieldcast, so we're the ones that you'll see inside the stadiums, where with the communication side, where with so like the main press center, we're with main press, we're with the international broadcasting committee, we work with the food, we handle just people services. So anything involving people is basically what my department has to deal with. So it all depends on the department that you're with. So your day-to-day activity as a volunteer is going to vary depending on the department that you're with and what is needed on that day. So a typical day for me, or it varies, but I'll just tell you about the last time that I worked and what I did. So I was checking in all the volunteers. So before the volunteers actually begin working, just like your job, you typically like do a check-in, like a time card. So they'll have to come to the office, and whatever location you're in, there is always an office close by. So they'll come to the main office and they'll go ahead, and we have to scan the badges, make sure that tell them where they're supposed to go, and we'll go ahead and give them, so the Olympic has pins like these. We'll go ahead and give them different pins, because what's happening is we're trying to boost morale because of no spectators for both the athletes and the volunteers. So there are special pins that you could get on each day depending on how many days you're at the Olympics, along with the different companies that has sponsored the Olympics has also have special badges. So this is like a Coca-Cola badge that I got, and what you could do is you could trade those badges. So you'll check in and you'll give them a special badge. You'll give them like alcohol. You give them heat, body body sheets to like freshen up and stuff like that. Each day the volunteers are given various things. You're given your meal ticket, and so I was checking in people, making sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be. And then after that I was taken off that, and I was sent over to the cafeteria. And what I had to do over there was we had to figure out the meals for the following day. So ordering the meals, checking off to see how much meals we needed for that night, how many breakfasts we would anticipate for needing the following day, just making sure that everybody had what they need. We were also like checking off the meal tickets and trying to, there's a lot of, again, moving parts that's going on, and with that there's a lot of food being ordered, so we're trying to minimize food waste. So we had to go ahead and clean out all the storage area to see what we had left over from the lunch rush and try to get those food out because the dinner was going to get started. So it just depends on the day to day, and I pretty much did that all afternoon, going around to the different departments, finding out how much lunches were going to be needed. And yeah, that's what I did that day. It was a very hectic day.
And can you tell us what COVID measures are in place to protect everyone who is participating?
Of course, there everyone needs to have on a mask at all times. You need to keep sanitizing your hands. I know for volunteers, we have to do our PCR testing. I believe it was said that PCR testing is needed for the athletes. I'm not sure how often they do that. But yeah, there are PCR testing done. We're still trying to maintain social distancing. So to how many people are traveling in the buses from the village to over to the main press center or to the stadiums.
From your impression, Kim, how would you say the athletes are doing? Do they look stressed? Do they look worried? What's the sense that you get?
So the Olympics is the ultimate stage for all the athletes. So yeah, we're in this is our new norm where the games are showcased in that our life has truly changed and has been altered since corona. And we're trying our best, both the athletes and the staff are trying their best to just foster an environment that is still excited, that is still fun, that has high morale. They're at the highest peak in their career, and it still needs to be celebrated. So we're bonding together as a people and trying to adjust to our new norms. And then with the things like the badges that I tell you, just different things that we're trying to do to foster a fun environment. So trading the badges between volunteers and athletes. And we have like different games, like you could win special prizes by, you might come in and you're lucky number 47 today that signed in, and you get a special prize to pick out of a box. So it's just a matter of trying to make the best out of the situation. I have not seen any sourpusses as yet in terms of athletes, because although it's not perfect, they have been training for this. Every athlete, this is where they want to be. Everyone wants to be at the Olympic and showcase their talent. So that's what's happening.
Kim, I want to thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today. And if anyone would like to learn more about Kim or to watch her videos, you can do so on YouTube at KimDix Diaries. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.